Morning, everybody. I'd like to call the order of the Portsmouth Port and Industrial Commission for Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Peterman,
Here.
Ms. McSwain,
Present.
Mrs. Rogers Garner is absent. Mr. Foster,
Present.
Ms. Jackson is absent. Ms. Allen
Present.
and Mr. Hanson.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge our new commissioner member, Mr. Peter Hanson. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. I have our council liaison, Councilman Hugel. Good morning.
Morning. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. And members from our city assessor's office. Good morning. Before you have the minutes from our May 2023 regular meeting. You're gonna need a motion and a second for approval.
Ron Peterman, I make a motion for approval. Second.
You have a motion and a second. Are there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Peterman,
Here. Yes.
Ms. McSwain,
Yes.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
and Ms. Jackson
Yes.
and Ms. Allen.
Yeah.
Chair, the item is adopted by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. You have before you the financials for May 2023. Good morning, Ms. Pope. How are you?
I'm going to give a very quick, basic financial report overview for the month ending in May. I know you probably are used to the quarterlies, but we've had some issues with the bank statement, so we're doing May now, and then the next time you see us, we'll do fourth quarter.
Okay.
As of May 31st, we had around $919,000 in cash in between our two bank accounts. We have a little over $1 million left in grants to receive. As you can see, we paid out $1 million so far. We have our two remaining properties at $332,000. We have liabilities ending for May at around $1.276 million, leaving our net position at a little over $1 million. As for our income statement, we have brought in $5,000, a little over $5,000 in IRB fees. For the month ending in May, our overall operating expenditures were $11,192. We have accumulated $13,558 in interest revenue. And again, our net position matches at $11,264 billion. Right here is our year-to-date budget report in May. You can see what we had as budget, what we brought in, and what we have left. This last sheet represents the amount of grants we have left to pay out, as well as that amount matches what we bring in. So what we bring in, we bring out, and we have what we awarded, what we have paid out so far, what we came over or under, and the remaining amount payable.
Any questions regarding the financial statements?
Chair, I did have, there were no questions. I did have just a comment on the last report, your grant report. There are two grants in the amount of $180,000 that were related to the lineage logistics project. One of those is from the state of Virginia. That's a Commonwealth Opportunity Fund grant, the amount of $180,000. And then we have a local matching grant of $180,000. Those have both been dispersed. They were dispersed in June, so they'll appear in your next report that Ms. Pope provides, but I did just want to provide you, they've both been paid out. They did come in under that 180, I think 157 approximately was 157,000 was the payout there. But those will hit your financial reports, but they are paid out.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pope. Old business from the Port of Virginia. Good morning, Chris.
Everyone, Allen, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. I think maybe it's similar remarks to what I had last time we met, but ultimately, as we stand here in June, volumes have somewhat returned to normal post-pandemic, but still have grown. So obviously, the past 2 years of the Port of Virginia have been great and record volumes, volumes that we didn't envision. But ultimately, as we all know, things have gotten a little bit more normalized. And in fact, we're seeing even the volume normalized to sort of historic levels with the peaks and valleys. And I know we're really bullish for the second half of this upcoming calendar year, as many of our customers, big accounts are expecting a pretty robust back to school and then right into the holiday season. So our volumes are still up. When you look, I always like to kind of take the COVID numbers for what they are, but looking back even to 2019, which would be sort of your last comparable month, we were up in the month of May over May of 2019. So I think, we've been in the marketplace capturing business. Our performance proves that, and the customers are rewarding us with new volume and new business. So it's really exciting. Our truck turn times continue to be best in class. As I think most of you know, we target a sub 1 hour turn time, meaning a truck comes into the facility and exits within a 1 hour time period. And by all means, we are well below that. And BIG is performing very well, as is NIT. For the PMT project there at Portsmouth Marine Terminal, obviously a lot of excitement around the emerging opportunities around offshore wind, and we continue to make substantial progress on construction there at PMT. I think it's, you've heard me say before, we are in fact rebuilding sections of that facility to withstand or to uphold these weights that are associated with the actual turbine and all the different components that will be arriving. Targeting our first arrival sometime early October. We will begin to see monopiles arrive there at PMT. So July is almost here. We've obviously got the clock ticking, and we're really excited. And I know we'll be able to deliver to our partner there at Dominion Energy the monopile delivery berth by the time that vessel arrives. So again, substantial work going, and it's been very productive. And we're optimistic that project will continue to track in a positive fashion. We're also about to kick off another project across the water there at Norfolk International Terminals. At North NIT, we will optimize, pretty much replicate what we did on the south end. This project currently has about a $650 million plus type of investment is what it's looking at. The Commonwealth of Virginia has this past budget made about a $266 million investment in that project. And so it'll officially get kind of underway here the second half of CY 23. And that's great because as we continue to perform and we continue to be in the marketplace, earning new business, this type of capacity is what we're going to need for not just the next few years, but obviously years to come. And that's what we're building here is obviously a generational asset that's going to provide opportunities and an investment to the Commonwealth for many years to come. And before I wrap up, I think, the last slide, Brian, pointed out some of the grants, and I think a couple jumped out. Of course, Lineage, what a great success. You think about the former BASF site, and for all those years, it kind of sat fallow and nothing really going on. And obviously through some real vision by local ownership, different groups buying that property, and then someone like a Lineage Logistics to come in and build a cold storage plant. I can tell you, every time I'm at VIG, and I'll be over there at VIG later after this meeting, I know I'll see plenty of Lineage tractors pulling reefer containers over that facility. So it's really, I think, producing a lot of fruit and opportunity for all of us. And subsequently, the next one is Wild Duck Lane. I mean, seeing the fact that, that project continues to make progress and knowing, again, the warehousing, the cross-docking, these users want to be as close as possible to the terminals. And so being a host locality like Portsmouth, then having some real strategic property. Sure, they're not 100-acre sites, and that's okay. These are sites that are of high value and going to really add to the velocity of supply chain and really puts Portsmouth in an extremely unique position to capture some of these really exciting jobs that are emerging and developing in supply chain logistics. So we're really excited to see that project continue to progress and know it's going to hopefully be as successful. If thinking of Lineage or Interchange, it's exciting to see the next one there on deck. So I'll leave it at that, but happy to answer any questions from the board if there are any this morning.
Are there any questions, anyone? Thank you so much, Chris. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you. On to our new business, and I'm very excited to hear about this. Brian, will you introduce our guest?
Absolutely. I'm really excited to introduce you to our guests, which are representatives from Starbase Victory, Mr. Bill Hayden and Ms. Lisa Downey Hood, who are doing pretty exciting, extraordinary things with our youth in our public school system. So Ms. Lee and I had a meeting with the two of them a few weeks back. We said, we really need to get you before PPIC to talk about all the exciting work you're doing. And they graciously accommodated us. So Bill, Lisa, if I could ask you to come forward, and I think we've got your presentation loaded up here, but we're really interested in hearing about the work that you're doing on behalf of our school system.
I'm Bill Hayden, call sign tennis ball for the shape of my head. We all have call signs at Starbase. I founded the program 20 years ago and was more than happy to turn it over, the executive directorship, to this young lady right here, who is going to tell you, I can tell you all about the history of Starbase if you'd like. See me after class. But you want to hear about the future of Starbase. So I'd like to introduce Charger.
Good morning. I am Lisa Downey Hood, and I am the protege of the executive director emeritus. So he has to go with me everywhere. But it is a pleasure to be here. We're really excited to talk to you a little bit about the Starbase Refresh Program. So as Charger, or as T-Ball said, we do call names, so forgive me, retired Admiral Hayden. It was founded in 2000, September 2000 by T-Ball. And for over 20 plus years, Starbase has a very unique program with the schools, the students of the Portsmouth school system, launching one future at a time. And it's a unique program because no one else in the country does what we do. Urban setting, urban environment, every child, every student through their elementary school year go through and is exposed to STEM related careers. So why is that important? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And it provides innovative and interactive experiences for learning and introducing kids to STEM. What we learned, and I'm really going to piggyback off of the presentation we just heard. That was a great segue, by the way. Thank you. It's about building careers and building futures for our students. And we have a great wealth of kids right here in the city of Portsmouth that we're not tapping into. So we want to build that workforce development for the future. So let's talk a little bit about that. This is our current strategic plan, our mission, our vision, and I won't read these to you, but it really is about creating opportunities to develop students with an interest in STEM. Is it just STEM? Absolutely not. It could be anything of STEM, and STEM has elevated from the stereotype that we grew up with. And I'm gonna pick on Mark here because I used to actually work for Mark in the shipyard. I retired as the executive director, and he was my boss, both as lieutenant, as shipyard commander, and then as the admiral in that seat. So you can see the relationship. But STEM is no longer just the traditional things that we think about with engineering, math. It's so much more. You gentlemen talked about wind technology. That's a part of STEM. We talk about new healthcare procedures. We talk about the maritime industry. All those have components of STEM. And what we recognize is that we have a workforce right here that's starting in the 3rd grade, in the 4th grade, in the 5th grade. And we want to create a pipeline that stretches from those early and elementary years right through graduation. So here's our mission, our vision. We want to be a model program, or continue to be a model program, because frankly, I think we are a model program, encompassing the world of STEM for every student. And then we want to continue to create exciting and innovative experiences, because that first introduction to a student when they're in a learning capacity could develop into a career. So we started with 3 core programs in the elementary school. If you ever get an opportunity, we'll invite you always to come over to see the great things that the kids are doing at Victory Elementary. But we recognize the need for change. And this is where the refresh program comes in. It's a 5-year program that is created to align the STEM pathways in our core programs from grade 4 all the way through graduation. So we have the capacities, we have the CTE programs, we have the core-based programs, we have the introductions to middle school. So we want to truly create a pipeline that a child can be exposed to STEM and STEM-related careers as early as elementary and create that all the way through high school. The end in mind, ready for the workforce when they graduate, with a job, with higher learning education opportunities, with career and technical background. So that's why we're building this, and that's why it's so important. It ties to career and technical education. And again, it provides that pathway for students through workforce development and higher educational pursuits. The scope and the rationale, this is a multi-million-dollar project. We want to make sure that the public schools and Starbase have successfully planned and continue to plan, not just for the past 20 years, but for the next 20 years and the next 20 years after that. We want to make sure that our kids are a part of the Virginia Department of Education sources that cite that STEM cluster careers will grow 12% in the Commonwealth, adding more than 8,000 new positions. And you just heard that with the wind technology, with the port doing so well, the areas and opportunities for the city of Portsmouth and for our students is overwhelming. As the retired executive director for Norfolk Naval Shipyard, I personally know on one hand that we strive to get students to come into our program. A lot of the kids the workforce model has been shaped towards going to college, and that's great, but that doesn't have to be your first stop, and it doesn't have to be your only stop. And so we need a workforce model that prepares our kids for college and beyond that. Or we need a workforce model that prepares the next welder, or the next ship fitter, or the next electrician, or the next plumber, the next person that's working with technology. So it can be kind of a start here, go anywhere proposition. And not every student is always ready to go to college on day one. And so we don't want to lose that gap. And one of the frustrating things for me as the ED at the shipyard was that we had a talent pool right here in the city of Portsmouth, but we weren't tapping into it and making the best of it. So how do we do that? We get our students prepared to have these kind of career fields. And so whether they start off in the shipyard as an electrician or a pipe fitter and go on to college and become an engineer or become a chemist or anything they want to do in those fields, it's important that we continue to foster that exposure now. So that's why the pipeline is so important. So we're an investment into that future. And then, of course, fostering STEM and learning and expanding those will best position our students so that they can have those career advantages. So here's the STEM pipeline, and this is just an example. If you look at, and I'm trying to do the pointer, but I don't want to mess this good presentation up. If you look at the far end of it, you see the core program, and that's what we were talking about, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And I apologize if this is a bit of an eye chart. The core program is really what we have in place now. And then we have some elements of the place in the middle school where we have the discovery and career exploration programs. And then, of course, you go into the high school and we have the tie into career and technical education. We want to create this STEM pipeline such that it goes and connects to every grade as they're going through. So they start to see, kind of have the experiences in the core program. Then they start to really think about what it is that I can do with these things that I like. Sometimes kids will start with something that they like doing, like Legos or robotics, and they don't necessarily know the connection with the school and the math and the sciences. I often tell the story that I hate math, and I'm an engineer, by the way. I hate math, but I like problem solving. And so I understood the connection between problem solving and the importance of going and taking math. And oh, by the way, I still hate math, but I love to solve problems. So it's about exploration, it's about discovery, and then it's about linking those to career and technical education opportunities that can be anything from, again, cybersecurity or technical education as welding or some kind of expertise. And the end goal being on the day that they graduate, and Mark takes a great picture for us the other day, we were talking about sign up day, when kids come in and they graduate and they literally come across the stage and they have their diploma in one hand and a job offer in the other. How great would that be for our city, for our students to be able to have every student come through with that opportunity? I'm going in the military, I'm going to school, I'm going to the shipyard, I'm going to the Port Authority, I'm going to be, a welder, I'm going to be a pipe fitter. So it truly is about workforce development, and we have a unique opportunity to create that pipeline today. And so that's why we're so excited about it, and we want to make this connection. So it comes with a cost. So if anybody wants to write me a check for 4.6 million, I can end the presentation now and we can get started. Nobody, no take, okay, all right. So in our 5-year program, we're talking about a $4.6 million project over the next 5 years. Now, you'll see the highlighted piece is what Starbase is doing, and then the other piece is what the city school is doing. And so we have concurrence with the quickest city schools to move forward with this program. We are in year 1, and you can see the projected costs. Now, what are these costs? It creates both the short-term and long-term needs for recapitalization, for coming in and creating new curriculum and new development, new design outreach. And I would invite you on July the 15th, we're going to have the Go Tech bus here down at the market. Come over and visit and see what that technology does, and see how the kids can come on that interactive bus and learn about different careers. So we're looking to maybe get one here in this area, not just to support Portsmouth, but to support the Hampton Roads area in the region. And then we want to foster and fortify long-term success and sustainment. This is a complete refurbishment of our existing programs to increase the enhancement, to provide the infrastructure to put in place. So this is a heavy lift, but we're confident that we can get this done. So our objective at the end is creating a sustainable workforce to support our community. Of doing this, we're going to create that pipeline. We're going to assist in the development of students in STEM and STEM-related career fields. We're going to enhance the educational experiences of our students through innovative and innovation learning. We're going to encourage and empower our students to reach their full potential so that they are ready to enter the workforce day one. And most of all, we want to continue to create community awareness and engagement through outreach. And that's where you come in. We often say that Starbase is the best kept secret in the city of Portsmouth, and a lot of people know about it. So when I was walking in with Miss Angela, she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear about Starbase," and I'm like, "Oh, yay, great!" Because I never know how many people know about Starbase. But the truth is, almost everybody I talk to know about Starbase. They've had a student that's gone through Starbase. They've seen the experiences of Starbase, and we want to elevate that to the next level. So with your help and your support, we're looking hopefully to engage you in a partnership, because the more entities we can get involved, the more we can help our students. And with that, I will end my presentation, subject to any questions.
Do we have a T-ball?
Yeah, sorry. You give me a microphone and an opportunity to talk to a group like this, I just can't pass it up. I started this program. I live in Virginia Beach. I started this program, Starbase, in the 5th grade 22 years ago. I came here, I had no connections in Portsmouth. Well, I had one. And so I went to the shipyard commander and asked him for help. I needed some desks, I needed some computers, I needed some manpower to set up the school, which was in the old New Gosport base housing. He used to work for me, and Mark gave me everything that I needed to get Starbase started. And then over the course of years, we expanded from 500 kids in the 5th grade to now every 4th grader, every 5th grader, every 6th grader comes through the program. So that's long-term history. What I really want to impress you with are two maybe three very important points. I'm retired Navy. I moved 26 times. Every time I moved, because I had children, the first question my wife and I asked is, where are the best schools? That's where I want to set up home. So the school system is critical to Portsmouth. I think I'm preaching to preachers here. But you have a program here, not because of me. Yeah, I had a good idea, but we got a lot of all-star instructors, and buy-in from the school system to make this happen for Portsmouth. So that's one point. The education system, the school system is critical to any organization, and particularly to a city. This year, actually, for the last 2 years, I have had the best, most exciting, most innovative, most engaged board of directors I've ever had in 22 years. He's one of them. And this young lady has actually inspired me to stick with the Starbase program, because what you see up here is what this city, what every city needs. It needs to feed its children the opportunity for the careers that exist in the city. You're a maritime organized industrial base out here, and that's what we intend to do at Starbase. Yes, we need a lot of money. So you're going to get a request from me. I now write grants. So you're going to get a request from me. Think about it, what you saw here today. And now I'm going to sit down. I'm the history. You may ask this young lady anything you like about Starbase.
If I may, T-Ball, as a former school board member, thank you for your tireless efforts, not only you, but also your wife, and everything that you've done to move Starbase to where it is now. It's always good to be excited about the future, but I never forget about our past. So thank you for everything that you've done and will continue to do as you tag team Starbase to the future. With that said, any questions from anybody on the commission? Ms. Jackson?
I just also wanted to say thank you. I was actually one of the children to go through the program when I went through elementary school, I believe. And I didn't end up in a STEM-based, career field, but when I did engage in the activities that you guys do, I think it does also not only introduce us to, the workforce, but it instills some type of confidence and independence in the students, because it's just things that we don't really, get to see in this community. So I want to thank you for that as well.
I want to thank you. Can I get your name and number?
Okay.
With students like yourself that have come through the program as a part of advertising it.
Mhm.
And what you said is perfect. And the point that you made about, well, even though I didn't choose a STEM and STEM related field, is so significant because it sets you up for the exposure.
Right.
And it can take you anywhere from that. So
Yeah. Actually, it was me, my brother, and my little sister. It actually, we were excited to go to school just because of the program. I remember making a rocket. It was so I just thank you. It's really,
Everybody
remembers
the rocket.
Mr. Peterman?
Yeah, I looked at your presentation. I think there's a lot of great goals there. And, and my wife is a retired Portsmouth teacher, so she really enjoyed, taking her students out there and participating. And a granddaughter that is a graduate as well. So, but I guess all the goals, what's the how? Are you hiring more people? Are you buying stuff? What are you doing? What are you physically doing?
Oh, that's a great question. So we're doing all of the above, right? Stand back up. Part of this 4.6 million is to go buy new equipment. Go buy new infrastructures and support that equipment. There's a lot of outfitting that we would need to do, new technologies to come in to support those equipment. On the public school side, we need to hire resources. And so that's where the biggest challenge is, being very transparent. Teachers are a shortage right now, as I'm sure you know. So getting those resources in there are going to be continue to be a challenge. But with that, we're looking at trying to come up with some innovative ways to hire and recruit, like internship programs with the local colleges, Norfolk State and ODU and Hampton and the other areas. And so looking at going what they call a second career, where people can come in from retired and if they can be certified to become teachers, so we can look at that. So some of this will cover, a lot of that will cover those expenses as well as professional development for educators as we get them in to grow those. But the biggest chunk of this, and to be quite honest with you, $1 million of that 4.6 is for us to get a GoTech bus. So that's why I invite you all to come and see the GoTech bus, because it is really incredible. We want to be able to have that capability here, in the Portsmouth area. But yeah, equipment, infrastructure, maybe even the thought of looking at our own dedicated facility, because the other challenge we've learned recently is with the area around Victory as an example, and more families, more students, we are challenged with space now for the existing program. And so as we spread out, we're gonna maybe need to have our own facilities, so that might be a little bit in the future. But it is definitely to refurbish our equipment, upgrade our technologies, and get the resources we need.
Okay, thank you.
And before I forget, I want to make sure I leave these. I need you to talk to your wife and your kids as well. And we do want to extend an invitation to you to come to our partnership breakfast, so that you can learn more. And we have summer camps going on right now. Always feel free to come by and see what the kids are doing. You cannot help but get excited. We just kicked off the summer schools this week, and we're excited about it. We're going to be doing them all summer long, so get a chance to come by. But we'll definitely extend an invitation to you for the partnership breakfast, because we are looking for partners. And as we explained with Brian and Nala when we met with them, it's important that the community, really rally behind this. We were delighted that City Council came on board and was able to support us, but we're looking for community partners as well. So not even just beyond PPIC, but any of your community organizations, because the more we can galvanize the community around supporting our students, the better off our students are going to be.
Ms. Payne?
Yeah, you had mentioned summer camps. I knew, I had got a call to try to get some of the veterans to come out and support the summer camp. Are you still, needing volunteers? They had said something about cooking on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
For the kids. So, okay, so I'll try to see what we can do to, assist with that. And I'll give y'all a call. I did get your information.
Yes, absolutely. And we do need volunteers. If you're not doing anything on any particular Thursday or any day of the week, please, again, feel free to contact me. We can always use the help. Plus, it's fun. You get to do the drones, you get to do the Legos. So come on and have a good time with us. We appreciate it.
Any additional questions? Councilman Hugel?
Yeah, thanks. Just to comment on GoTech. So, if you can't make it to the farmer's market on Saturday, 15th of July, the GoTech bus is actually here that entire following week, running a summer camp out of the Children's Museum. So the bus will be parked beside the Children's Museum, kind of back between the museum and the parking garage on County Street. So all week long, the bus will be there. The kids will be in a classroom in the museum and then out on the bus. Lisa talked about the desire to buy our own GoTech bus. Importantly, we have outfitted the first GoTech middle school classroom at Craddock Middle School. And so the seventh and eighth graders in career investigations this coming school year will have an opportunity to spend time in the GoTech classroom in Craddock. We recently asked the Hampton Roads Workforce Council to help us find funds to outfit a classroom at Churchland Middle and at Waters Middle, and so those are coming. They've found the money for the next middle school classroom and are in the process of submitting a grant for the third classroom outfitting. So GoTech is going to plug in and give our middle schoolers an opportunity to be exposed to robotics, to 3D printing, to laser cutting, to welding, to engineering. So you can see all that stuff on the GoTech bus, and it's available all week long at the Children's Museum the week of the 17th of July.
Thank you, Councilman.
Angela, can I ask you a question? We have $50,000 in our budget for Star-Based Victory. How do we spend that?
Well, we've been holding on to that until we had our presentation, and then what will happen is we'll discuss that with Starbase, how we can be of assistance to them and move forward with that. So that was the plan when that was put in place.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hanson?
Yeah, just a quick question. So is Starbase is it exclusive to the city of Portsmouth, or is it, so there's no other iterations of it anywhere else? So I was just curious about the money asked, whether the money was going to stay in Portsmouth.
If you were to go up on the internet and write Starbase,
Mhm.
you'd discover that there are about 20 Starbases around the country.
Okay.
Those are federally sponsored through the National Guard.
Okay.
There's only one private Starbase. That's your Starbase Victory,
Okay.
supported uniquely by the community in collaboration with the school system. We speak Starbase, and if you haven't been there, you probably don't know what we're talking about, but we pull the kids out of school and they come to our Starbase. We give them a T-shirt that's unique to the program that they're involved in, 4th, 5th, or 6th grade. And they get a call sign like T-Ball or Charger. Do you happen to remember your call sign or one of them?
I don't remember that.
So that's okay. It was a long time
That
ago
was a
and
long
not
time
so
ago.
far away place. But the important point about that I always forget to make because I am so familiar with it is that when you take a group of kids out of their classroom, the teacher comes also, but out of the classroom and they go to this strange place called Starbase and they look around and they see all this neat stuff and go, wow, this is really kind of fun.
Mhm.
And then we give them projects to do and they're always successful with the projects because we help them. You pull them out of class, you give them a T-shirt and they become a team, a new team. And you give them a call sign and they're not Bill anymore. Whatever baggage Bill carried with him back in the day. I'm T-Ball now and I'm somebody. And I tell you what, the secret to teaching kids, talk to your wife about it, is engagement. If you get their attention, they will learn. And at Starbase, as Lisa said, the kids are excited. I mean, if I could turn that energy into wind power. Sorry, I got an audience, I can't.
Along the lines of that question, though, the board looked at how to grow Starbase a couple of years ago. And it was kind of two paths. One was grow it away from Portsmouth into the community. The other was to grow bigger inside our own community. The board chose to grow bigger inside our own community because this is a Portsmouth thing and we want to invest in Portsmouth kids and in Portsmouth schools. And so this futures program fills a gap. At the time we had 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. There was nothing. And then 11th and 12th, the career and technical education program picked up. And so what the futures program is aiming to do is to bridge the gap between getting the kids enchanted in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade and giving them a path, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th that leads into the career and technical education opportunities to actually go to work in the 11th and 12th grade.
Any other comments? Again, thank you so much for your presentation. And I look forward to partnering with Starbase Victory. We have our NNSY Southgate Annex update. Brian.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm going to ask you and Mr. Peterman to participate in this update discussion that we're going to have. But really just want to share with the commissioners that the conversations with the shipyard representatives have been moving forward. I think gaining some momentum. In fact, last Friday we met Captain Dasher, who oversees some of the operations at the shipyard, and their planning liaison to tour the property. And again, this is the 16-acre Southgate Annex property that is owned by the Navy. It is across from your property at 3920 and 3930 Burton's Point Road. We walked the property with Captain Dasher, myself, Chair Allen, Mr. Peterman, and Councilman Hugel was also in attendance, and really impressed with the space that's there. And the discussion really centered around potential availability of some of the upland area as well as the waterfront, including some piers that are in need of some repair and work, but really a pretty impressive property right there on the waterfront. And we do feel like there may be some opportunity for Portsmouth having access to that property for economic development purposes. We've recently come to learn that the environmental study, which had been going on for some time, did come back, and while it wasn't clean, it did allow for and supported reuse of the property for commercial purposes, industrial purposes. So again, these are evolving matters. The conversations are continuing. I think what we're looking at now is determining what potential uses may be out there for this property. And we're looking at things like offshore wind, logistics, distribution, as well as, you know, other things going on in the industrial base in our community. And following that, working with the Navy to really kind of flesh out a process and time. But certainly would like to afford here yourself and Mr. Peterman, Councilman Hugel to add to that date. But it does look like things are progressing.
Mr. Peterman?
Yeah, it was one of those things that when we started talking about this discussion years ago. This was considered an enhanced lease, where they wouldn't give the money, the land to the city, they would lease it to us for 99 years. And this time, that's still on the table for 99 or maybe 50. But they also said that maybe they just want to divest this land from the shipyard and make it available, for, they explain the process. It has to be, advertised to all federal agencies first. And then after that, it goes out to state, and then it goes down to local. So everything is on the table. And one of the big things that's, kind of holding this thing up a little bit is because there's a lot of money being invested in the shipyard, in building buildings and cranes and dry docks and all those sorts of things. And so they might need a laydown area, to move things temporarily while they build on the shipyard and move them back. And so that's one of the things that Councilman Hugel, suggested that, if you want to do that, maybe you could use some of the 3920 or 3960, property as well. So, that might, be involved in, in holding up the sale or whatever. So kind of all connected, but the piers, 3 of them are condemned. 2 of them they still use. And it's right there on the waterfront. And I checked the charts show it as, even though he said it was 70 feet there, the charts show it as 20 feet. So I don't know what truth is, but and I don't know when the last survey was done. So, it's there, and that's about all I have to add.
Councilman Hugel?
No, I think Commissioner Peterman said it all.
It was very informative to see it up close and in person, to go out there and see what the opportunities could potentially be. So I look forward to exploring.
We will continue to provide updates as this moves forward. I think we're on seems to be a faster track. I don't know that it's a fast track, but it's moving a little bit quicker than I think it had over the last year or two with some of the changes there at the shipyard. I think we'll have more changes to come, but I think we're in front of them now, and we'll be continuing to kind of push this matter forward. So we'll have frequent updates for you.
Just the one last thing is, they don't want us to pay them money. They want in-kind services, just so you know. Because if the money, it goes into the federal government's big amorphous pot. So they just want in-kind services that are worth money. So that's just one of the deals here.
Okay. Moving on to our next item, election of officers. We will need an election of officers for chair, vice chair, and treasurer. We'll start with, let's start from treasurer. Our current treasurer is, Miss Arnett McSwain. We do need a nomination and a second for treasurer.
I recommend Arnett keep the job.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there anyone else being nominated for treasurer?
The discussion, okay, Mr. Peterman,
Yes.
Ms. McSwain,
Yes.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
and Ms. Allen.
Yes. Congratulations, Madam Treasurer. Vice Chair position is currently open. Ms. Sarah Rogers Gardner has been the current Vice Chair, and unfortunately, she has not been present. That position is an open position. You need a nomination for Vice Chair.
Nominate Mr. Ron Peterman.
My commission expires in December. That's my only reservation.
We'll pick someone else.
Let's continue forward. Even if it does, just like with any position, if for some reason you're not reappointed, but the goal is are you looking to be reappointed to the
Yes.
commission?
Yes.
Okay, we'll put that out there.
I still nominate.
Okay. Mr. Ronald Peterman has been nominated for Vice Chair, and we do have a second from Ms. Jackson. Any other nominations for Vice Chair? Any discussion? Hearing none? Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Peterman,
Yes.
Ms. McSwain,
Yeah.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
and Ms. Allen.
Yes, congratulations, Vice Chair Peterman.
Thank you.
Now we have the chair position. Is currently open. We need a nomination for chair.
I nominate our current chair, Ms. Anthony Allen.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Peterman,
Yes.
Ms. McSwain,
Yes.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
and Ms. Allen.
Yes.
Congratulations, Chair. The item is adopted by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you so much for your confidence in me, and I look forward to serving with you all continuously. We do not have a need to go into a closed session. Do we have any items to be submitted by commissioners? Hearing none. Report backs regarding 3920 and 3930 Burton's Point Road. Brian?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just wanted to provide you a brief update on a couple of items. 3920, 3930 Burton's Point Road. We have contracted with the consultants that we brought before you at your May meeting regarding the completion of a wetlands delineation update for 3930 Burton's Point Road, and then also for some conceptual site layouts for both properties. So that work is underway. I would expect to have that hopefully completed and back within the next 30 days. So maybe for your next meeting, to present some of those layouts to you. But that is underway and moving forward. And once that is completed, those items will be included with the marketing materials that Harvey Lindsay Commercial Real Estate will be putting out with their formal listing of the real estate.
Okay.
So that is all moving forward. The next item is the port and industrial sites tour. We had discussed a waterfront tour from the Elizabeth River of Portsmouth's industrial sites and really our neighboring communities as well. Ms. Tracy of our office had done some research on procuring a vessel to take us on that tour. but in some recent conversations with your newly appointed commissioner, Mr. Hanson, it's come to our attention that he has some contacts in his line of work and industry that may afford us an opportunity to obtain a vessel. And if you have any comments,
Sure.
Mr. Hanson, you want to share?
In my capacity, in my professional role, as along with Ben as well, or Commissioner Foster as well, we work very often with launch boat operators and very closely with the Virginia Pilot Association, which is a quasi-government pilot association, as you all know. And they are always very, very eager and willing to provide opportunity for port tours. It's good for them. They want to be politically active and involved, and I'm fairly certain that I can get some buy-in. So I'd be happy to pick that up as a direction or a goal to work towards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would just encourage everybody to keep in mind that these are not pleasure boats. These are working boats. So when we do that, we'll have to talk about some safety side, but.
Absolutely.
No Mai Tais, huh?
Correct.
No yachting outfit. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Any questions or comments regarding the two report backs?
Yes. Is there a time frame we want to have a decision?
I think we had discussed having that tour as part of a regular
Meeting.
day,
Mhm.
which would be could be your July or August meeting.
Well, we also discussed, having the Economic Development Authority come with us and whatever, I guess. Other
Depending
people.
on the capacity of vessel that he's able to procure.
Yeah.
There are some public notice and public meeting requirements that are
Mhm.
somewhat challenging to kind of work through when you start bringing in additional bodies, groups for the meeting or tour in this case. But we'll certainly work through that and take a poll of everybody's availability for attending.
Should we look at potentially August? That gives us the opportunity for Mr. Hanson to procure the vessel to see how many people we're able to do. Maybe you might have to do it in 2 different shifts, making sure that we meet the regulatory requirements for public notice and for if we have to have a member of the press, and things of that nature, so that we're fully covered. So that gives us enough time to maybe schedule this for August.
I think a reasonable number to expect to be welcome safely on one of these vessels would be 10 to 12 people. In some case, this tour we would not want to be down in the seating area of a launch boat. We want to be up on deck. So, I've done these tours before with various people that want to have port tours, and 10 to 12 is a reasonable number that we can expect this to have safely out on deck and have a conversation about what you're seeing and experiencing. So I think that's going to be it, plus or minus 1 or 2 people.
So if we were looking at August, I believe the date that we would be considering would be second. So Mr. Hanson, we can just continue to communicate on this and work out the details.
Yep.
But, we can pencil in August 22nd, your standing meeting for the tour.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Hanson, for that wonderful offer. Just going off script, since we have our assessor's office here, is there anything that you'd like to kind of bring to the table or discuss while you're present?
Not at this particular time. We are looking into the development of the onshore production that's going to be taking place. So we're kind of in the early stages of that. We are looking at that and we're doing some research on the type of building that's going to be done and exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, because that does seem to be changing a little bit as time progresses. So we want to make absolutely certain that we are prepared and ready to make a accurate description of the property and the value of the property. and what it exactly is going to do for the city of Portsmouth.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a question in our last meeting is, are we gonna get more money or less money with the city with all this for development of the, for
Well-
our green terminal?
Right now, we are in the, let's see, we are currently doing our due diligence and research. And we have found a number of sites throughout Tidewater where there are private buildings built on federal or state property, and they are able to receive taxes for the buildings. And that's what we're researching right now to see exactly where we stand on this. And we're working very closely with the city attorney's office and also with some of our neighboring jurisdictions that are helping us along on this path. So we are working on it. I wish I had more to tell you at this time, but I just don't. I don't want to give you information that could be interpreted incorrectly. I'd rather be able to say to you, this is what we have found out, and this is exactly what we're trying to establish for the city. So give us a little bit more time. We're meeting regularly with the city attorney's office, and we'll be bringing information to them on a weekly basis. So hopefully maybe by the next meeting, maybe we'll have something more permanent to share with y'all.
And we look forward to that, and you're always welcome to come and present. Thank you so
You're
much.
certainly welcome.
Any further comments, questions, or concerns from our commission? Hearing none, everybody have a great holiday. And this meeting is now adjourned.